Alright, so today we're going to be talking about Chapter 6, Lesson 4. We're going to be talking about solving two-step equations. So when we start talking about two-step equations, we're going to learn a visual way to do it, which is going to be kind of in this box arrangement. We're going to use this equation here to kind of help us solve it and go through and figure out how it should be done. And then what we're going to use is a more mathematical way, kind of the way that we've been talking about in class, to go through and solve this as well. So I'm going to show it to you in this method here, and then I'm going to show it to you in a different way. So this box method here, this is a very visual way of solving an equation. So as we go through this, the question we want to look at, always keeping in mind PEMDAS, is what's being done to the variable as we go through the order of operations. So the first thing we want to look at is, are there any parentheses? And looking at this equation here, there aren't any. We look at exponents next, still none. We look at multiplication and division, because really these two are part of the same step, and these two are part of the same step. So there is something dealing with multiplication right here. We're actually multiplying by 2. So I'm going to put a times 2 in there. There is no division. There is addition though. Addition right here, a plus 3. So I'm going to put a plus 3. And then in this area right here, I'm going to put 9. So now as we go backwards, continuing along this path, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look above the box and see what is up here, and then I'm going to do its opposite. So if I look above this box right here, it says plus 3. So what I'm going to do is a minus 3. And here I'm going to put, now we're at 6. Because 9 minus 3 is 6. Looking at my next box, this shows above it a times 2. So I'm going to divide by 2. And finally in this last box here is my answer. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. The other way to look at this, and again it's the exact same process, just different looking, I'm going to write down 2x plus 3 equals 9. I'm going to go through the process of how we did this with solving our one-step equations. First thing we want to look at is going in reverse order now. So this is a little bit more difficult, but essentially what we're going to do is focus on this part here. So again, the first thing that was done is I got rid of this plus 3 by creating a 0 pair and subtracting 3. So that created a 0 pair. All that remains now is 2x, and 9 minus 3 is 6. Now I'm going to divide by 2 to undo this multiplied by 2. That simplifies to just x, and I'm still left with 3. So same answer, different way of visualizing it. Alright, so let's look at example 1 here. I'm going to show it to you in this method over here, and then this method here. And after that, I'm going to do example 2 in the same way, and then example 3, I'm going to simply do it in this method off to the right here. But if you still like using this more visual method, please continue to do that. Alright. First thing we're going to do is draw a line down the middle of the equal sign. Now, if I'm looking at this reverse order of operations method, remember, I have PEMDAS, where these are the same step and these are the same step. I'm going to go in this direction. And I want to undo what there is. So there is addition, so I'm going to undo that with subtraction. Creates a 0 pair, so I'm left with 4x equals 16. Next, there is multiplication, so I'm going to undo that with division by dividing both sides by 4, and I get x equals 4. If I use my more visual method, I'm going to run into some space here, but that's okay. Let me erase this actually now. I'm going to draw this out. This is x. First thing that gets done as far as order of operations goes is I multiply by 4. Next thing that gets done to it is adding 3. And if I look at the problem, I get 19 as my answer. So as I go through this, I'm going to undo what's above it. So I have a plus 3. So in this box, I'm going to subtract 3. And 19 minus 3 will get me 16. Here I have a multiply by 4, so I'm going to divide by 4. And that gets me, oops. So I'm at 16, divide by 4, and that gets me 4. So again, same exact results, showing it in a different way. Alright, let's look at example 2 here now. We'll do the same process, and then with example 3 moving forward, I will do just 1. So put the line down the middle. Let's write our PEMDAS down. Remember, I'm going to put boxes around what is the same. So, as I go through this, again, I want to go in this direction. So there is no subtraction, but there is addition, really. Right here, this 6 is a positive. So there is addition, so I'm going to undo that by subtracting. Creates a 0 pair. I'm left with just 5y equals 20. Looking at this again, there is multiplication, so I'm going to undo that by doing division. And I'm left with just y equals 4 again. If we do this in our visual method way, drawing out all my boxes, this one here, our variable this time is y. Next thing that's being done, multiplying, or actually multiplying by 5. So I'm in here, I'm going to put a multiply by 5. Last spot, we're going to be adding 6, and the results an answer of 26. So really, this first line and this bottom box over here is really just establishing what's being done to the variable y. And that's right here. This second line is solving it. So if I look in this box, right above it, I have a plus 6. To undo that, I subtract 6. So 26 minus 6 is 20. Moving over now, looking at this box, above it is a multiply by 5. So here I'm going to divide by 5. And 20 divided by 5 would get an answer of 4. So again, same answer, different process. Alright, this problem here, lesson or example 3. If I look at this order of operations style, remember I'm going to go in this direction, starting from on the right side to the left side. So I do have addition, that's this plus 9. So I'm going to undo that by subtracting. Let's actually change the colors, huh? So I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. This creates a 0 pair. Oh, black. This creates a 0 pair, so I'm left with just negative 3c on the left side. And on the right side, 3 minus 9 is negative 6. Now, I have multiplication. That's right here. So to undo that, I'm going to use division. So I'm going to divide by negative 3. Keep that in mind because there's a negative 3 right here. This also has to be negative 3 in the denominator. So this will simplify down to just c equals 2. And if I do this the more visual way, making all my boxes, alright, so now the variable in this case is c. So I'm going to put that here. First thing that's being done to it by using the order of operations is multiplying by negative 3. Next thing that's being done is adding 9. And that was equal to 3. So now as I move through this bottom part of this visual here, I'm going to again look above each box and undo what's up there. So I have a plus 9, so I'm going to subtract 9. And again, 3 minus 9 is negative 6. Looking above here, I'm multiplying by negative 3, so I'm going to divide by negative 3. And negative 6 divided by negative 3 again is 2. So, same answer by using different methods.